from the point of view of this naked awareness or this deeper consciousness, it is just as problematic to be stuck in feeling too good as it is in being stuck in feeling too bad. Same thing. You're stuck. Stuck is stuck, you know. It's gradually coming to realize that there is something deeper than this, all these waves, these cycles. You know, we go up and we feel good, and then we go down and we feel bad. But if we can find that deeper dynamic stillness, which is always just consciousness and bliss. You know, there is a bliss even in the pain, you realize after a while. And then you are free of the cycles, or you are still aware of them, but they don't upset you as much. So, you know, how you dig that out of yourself, I would maybe not think of it, I would just think of it more as a wish than your will. You have too much will and too much, when that becomes a need to control, you know, this is not necessary. You just bring your wish into your heart and you kind of dig for that motivation to keep doing it, and gradually that becomes the habit. And it takes, then you know, the other habits of chasing after things dissolves. You have to give yourself an alternative. And that has to build new pathways in the brain, or at least open pathways that have been closed, you know? And then really documentable changes happen. You could take a picture of your brain and it is different. So these old pathways shut down. And good riddance. Yeah, but you can't want it one day and not the next day.
That's right.
You have to want it every day, no matter what mood you're in. This goes way beyond mood. You know? So, of course you can do things to make yourself feel better. This is good. But recognize that it's not just doing that kind of in a more superficial manner, but it's building the muscles and the connection with your deeper spirit that will take you through all of it. There are many different paths that you can take. We're not saying that this is the only way to go, but I would claim that to get really deep results, you have to practice deeply with one tradition primarily. You can have other things that you do, but one thing has to be the main thing that you really do regularly. And of course it's going to seem boring. You know, you say, oh, I'm going to sit down again and do this simple breathing exercise and look in my heart. But gradually what you find out is that if you do this boring thing regularly, you get into, you know, it's like digging in a well. And you hit water. You hit new, fresh energy in yourself. And that is your spirit that is responding to you. If you don't ask for the spirit, it stays veiled. It stays outside your awareness. Nobody says you have to do, you don't have to do anything. What this tradition says is if you really want the results, you have to pay the price.
I'm working in business life,
Yeah.
and then I come here, and I've done that a few times now, and sometimes it's a very hard transformation, being Monday morning and going back to kind of another world.
Yeah.
And I know you've been businessman as well.
Yeah.
And how did you combine these two worlds?
Well, I just always had my main focus on the inner world, even when I was in the, you know, working with a factory with people on the floor, trying to help them to do improvements and things like that. You know, I never got lost in the make money for its own sake. You know, my main focus was on the practice. And of course then also when I did trainings and I did work with people, very often they said, wow, this was so wonderful. I don't know why. I mean, there was nothing else. I wasn't doing anything different than other consultants in terms of content or methodology. But, you know, it's the way you look at people. Do you look at people with real respect, or do you have a sense of love and caring and compassion in you? This can also be brought into the lawyer's world.
Believe it or not.
I hope so.
You circulate the energy, and after a while, you know, the energy circulates itself always. So you just pay attention to it. And then the main thing is that you feel an opening here, and that you feel an opening here. And maybe in the beginning you don't feel so much of an opening here, but your heart, you know, really opens, and then all the energy from the brain goes down here, and that's happening for you. Your heart is much more open. You have to really work as if your life depended on it, but you have to do it in a relaxed manner. It's an impossible thing that we have to do. And this circulation becomes not just a little spaghetti circulation, it becomes a huge thing that eventually you're circulating the whole world, and you just become one with the whole world. So you're surrendering into that. And you know, we're letting ourselves be used, not abused. Sometimes it feels like that too, but that's okay. But used. Using people is a good thing. I mean, I want to be used. We really used to talk about it being like a cow, you know. If a cow doesn't get milked,
it will explode.
It will explode. So it's a way of using, you know, just focus on your own energy and include them. You know, in the Andhas tradition they talk about a bubble. You get a bubble when you're circulating the energy. Just include the other person in it. And if they are in the least bit open, they will feel it.
Yeah.
It's consciously not using your tendency, the ego tendency, to judge and focus. Focus in a way of wanting to analyze and find out, you know?
Yeah.
You don't need that. If you're doing your work and if you're open, this light will be shining from you. And then you can incorporate somebody else's darkness. Yeah. And you can churn up some clouds for them. Because they are also light, but they just have a lot of clouds. As we all have had and have, you know? And then you have to constantly work to remove them.